What's going on YouTube and cryptocurrency family? My name is Harry and I'm the Crypto Vet. Thank you for tuning back in. Lots of exciting things happening. As most of y'all know, Bitcoin is over 20,000 and not just by a little, but by a lot, and there's a lot of room to grow. So if you like this content, you're a moon boy, you want to see all these go to the moon, go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and all the links are in the description for the Discord, Twitch, and we're building a really big community, lots of good people here. Tons of them besides me can answer questions if I'm not available, so please hop in on that if you're interested, and all of it's free. So let's go ahead and get started here. Last thing, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at XRP Veterinarian, where I post charts, news, updates, tons of things like that. So if we go ahead and get started here in CoinMarketCap, right now Bitcoin's at 22,700-ish, Ethereum's almost at 650, and then XRP above the 50-cent range again. The biggest losers or biggest gainers today is Litecoin, up to over $100. We got a bunch of greens still here on the charts. And then the biggest losers, Kusama, Algorand, but we're talking less than 10%. So these are just normal consolidations, nothing to get worried about. But let's get started here on Bitcoin. I want to show you guys a couple things. I've brought this point up before, but I haven't brought it up in conjunction with the MACD, and then also transferred it over to where we are now. So right here we have the daily chart, and this is back in 2017. August, when we first started our major pump, until December when we hit our first all-time high of 19,700. Really cool to say first all-time high now, because we've officially set a new all-time high. And when I started making videos and doing things like this wasn't a thing. I just always remembered just below 20K, you know, back in 2017, 2018, that was the all-time high. So we are in price discovery now, and great things and amazing things are going to happen here in the crypto space. But if we look back here, I'm just going to start here on July of 2017. We broke above, and I can zoom this up just a little bit to maybe see it better. We broke above the 20 daily exponential moving average after we touched the 20 weekly exponential moving average. So during this same time, we stayed above the daily, and we went up a total of 109%. From a price of $2,000 to over $4,000, right? That was a big move back then. That was, 100% on your returns. We fell a little bit below the daily. We came down and we touched the weekly exponential moving average, and then we came back up and we started doing this thing where we would touch it, go higher, touch it, go higher. And these are all daily candles. So this was over the span of here 46 days. All right. So the reason I bring this up again is if we come down and look at the MACD, we had a bullish cross right on September 24th of 2017-ish, somewhere around there, 26, 27. And it was also the same time we crossed above the 20 daily exponential moving average. From here, we had our bullish cross, and we stayed above on the MACD for 28 days. Came back below it on the MACD just a tad, but then came back up, and it wasn't until right here in November that we came down underneath it again for just a tad, and then we had this huge point of returns here for a whole month. It was up, 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 and oops, let me go ahead and do this measure here, and from there we had a return of 200% on top of the hundreds of percent we had already gone up. So the reason I bring this up now is we hit our price target that I had mentioned before, and let me go ahead and just show you that. So on the hourly, we were forming this symmetrical triangle here. I was saying in the Discord that once we got above this, and if we held and confirmed, the breakout target would be around 22,750-ish, which we hit easily with some room. And at this time, this price target matched perfectly with a fib line that was drawn, or fib extension line, which was drawn from the beginning of Bitcoin to the previous all-time high, back down to where a little bit before when the Corona dump had occurred, and that fib line lined up perfect. So now if we take a new fib extension line from the Corona dump to the high that we have just created, and then back down to the previous low that also lines up with the 20 weekly exponential moving average, and I'll bring it back to this chart here. Where is it at? There we go. We can see that this 22,300-ish mark is holding as really, really good support, and it's also the 0.618 on the fib extension. So with this price target met, and everything good. You know, everyone's asking, where do we go from here? Do we keep going up? Do we consolidate? Well, there's a couple scenarios that can occur, which is why I have the daily here, and we're going to come back to where we are now. So my ideal scenario is that we stay here for just a tad, and by tad I mean, you know, a week or so. And what this is going to do is this is going to bring up our weekly exponential moving average higher and higher the longer that we can stay at this price, right? We don't want to go straight up. If we go straight up, there's a higher chance that we will come right back down. So best case scenario is we stay and hold at this 618, maybe come down and touch the 0.5 here, but hopefully we don't touch the 0.5 for, you know, say 1 to 2 weeks, and we do a nice slow movement down, hopefully form like a nice symmetrical triangle, a nice pennant, something that shows a continuation pattern of bullishness in the market. We could potentially hold this here at around the $22,300, which would be absolutely wonderful. And the longer that we can stay at higher prices, we can bring this 20 weekly exponential moving average higher. So if we were, say, right here and we stay at the price that we're at, this is just going to come up like this. And the goal would be to hopefully get this and this to touch at around the 20K mark. The reason I say 20K is we want to solidify that support at $20,000 to hopefully never go below it again. Now, could we go shoot right back down to it now? Oh yeah. And would it make us not bullish anymore? Absolutely not. Because if we shot down right now, let's say today, all the way down to it, we would still have $15,000 Bitcoin, and it would just create a new pattern that would have to evaluate at that point, but we would still be in very, very much bullish territory, and that could be the shakeout that, you know, a lot of people are expecting. And let's see how much of a drop that would be. That would still be a 30% drop. That's exactly what we would expect in Bitcoin corrections and things like that. But we would have to hold that to say that we are still very, very bullish. We drop below that, we still have good support as long as we were to bounce back up and recover quickly. So now, with that being said, let's take a look at this. So on here on the daily, we had how many days on the MACD were we above after our last bullish cross? We had 73 days of positive price action after we had our bullish cross on the MACD, and we also came above the daily exponential moving average from after we bounced off the weekly exponential moving average. But right before that, we had, let's see, around 39 days, 37 days of negative price action where we had this Bart-Simpson pattern that dropped us down to the weekly. So after this 70-something days, here again, we are having a nice little wave around 22 days, 23 days, about 3 weeks, where we were below it, and then now we had our bullish cross a couple days ago. So if this was just to say stay positive here for similar to what we had almost 3 months, 2.5 months, we could be looking at another 60 to 70 days of staying above. And you can see here, it didn't just shoot up like we did here. We shot up, came down, touched it, and we just rode this MACD all the way up. So if we were to do that again, we'll stay right here for a little bit, we'll come down and touch it, we'll have more bounces up and down, and this will hopefully bring us to our target, my next target, which is going to be $30,000 for Bitcoin. And you know, my overall for this cycle here is well over 100,000. I'm thinking around 150K is about where this bull cycle will end at. But with inflation and all these other things, it could easily go much, much higher. So that's on the daily. If we go ahead and zoom in a little bit, we'll move to this one here, where on the hourly, where our price target was met at 22,750. So I can go ahead and take this off. We can go ahead and see that we are forming a nice little potential continuation pattern here of this previous breakout with good support at the fib 0.618, as well as a perfect little price action here of like an Elliott impulse wave where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then somewhere around here, which will be December 19th, 20th, we could see a potential breakout to the upside with this next target putting us very close to $26,000. So that's what is going on in the immediate short term. Let me know what you guys think here. We're in price discovery, so anything you see, do, notice could potentially tell us or give us a sign on what's going to happen next. But lastly here, let's go ahead and go to XRP. I posted this on Twitter. We were before in a descending triangle. However, when we came down, we've started to form a falling wedge. Falling wedge is a more bullish pattern, a higher chance to break to the upside, and during this time we jumped up above the daily exponential moving average, and now we are holding support there. Right now it wouldn't surprise me again if we still came down to around 53 cents or around 50 cents before we broke out to really confirm this breakout. And you can see that here on the 4 hour that we came up, got a little bit of a rejection, and then came down. But you can really see it if we move on to the hourly. And I have this fib speed fan on here just because I like to see how it's riding out. And you can see on the 0.75, it may be a little difficult to see, but we held on top of that really well. When we broke below it, it was resistance, and now we've been fighting it until we came down to here. But if I draw this here, you can almost see a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern forming, and this is a bearish technical, but this is the hourly, so this is a short-term potential pattern. If this was to play out, yeah, we could come back down to almost 50 cents, but we would still be above our previous falling wedge resistance line, turning it into support, and we could see the breakout after we have a little drop come from here. So that's what I'm expecting here on XRP. XRP is going to melt faces here in the future. People are going to be wishing they bought it less than $1 when it starts trading at $5 to $10 here in the next 6 to 8 months. So this is not financial advice. I'm just a doctor/idiot. And I know I talk about XRP a lot, but that's because it's my favorite cryptocurrency. But it also is the one that lags the most, takes the most time, and Bitcoin also determines whether its price is going to go up or down because it is the big boy in the market. So I have my 3 targets here, so we'll kind of see how this plays out. If it does come down some more, even below the 50, we could hopefully get support down here around 43 and then continue that way. Either way, still very, very bullish, even in the most bearish scenario if we come down to around 35, 36 and touch that weekly exponential moving average. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys, and I will catch you in the next one.